Okay, so today, guys, we are in Reading for 8-8 Poker's UKPL, and we are playing the £560 main event. I actually used to go to university here in Reading, so it feels a little like home, and I'd love to give a decent account of myself here. I've had a lot of cracks at these UKPL main events this year, but haven't yet managed a deep run, so let's get straight into it and see if we can change that. Okay, guys, end of first break. We're about starting stack. I'm using my new video recording technology, so I thought I'd give it a whirl by doing a vlog like this. So if you do see this vlog, it means we've done well-ish. If this never sees the light of day, then I've shit the bed. There may be some cash that we play as well, and we get that involved. It's a couple of hands to do after first break. Like I said, about starting stack. For this hand, we are starting stack. We've got 30k at 100. So cut-off opens to 300, looks like a bit of a wreck. I 3-bet the button to 800 and he calls. I have ace of spades, king of hearts. Flop is king, jack, 5, rainbow with a heart and a spade. 1900 in there, he checks. I bet 600, pretty standard, I'm just range betting. He calls, turns a 3 of hearts, do my bollocks obviously. 3100 in there, he checks. I mean, I'm just gonna overbet. I don't think I need to like 2x pot or anything, but I do overbet 4600 into 3100. And he tanks a little bit and folds. One of my favourite spots to overbet in, obviously, and it's going to get a lot of folds. I might size down with my value, not sure, against that opponent probably. And then the other hand, this is just a fucking stupid hand, but I thought I'd write it down because it's an interesting spot on the river nonetheless. So cut off, it looks like a reg, opens to 600 at 100, 300. I defend 6-5 of clubs, you can 3-bet. My table, by the way, is really, really bad. It started off better, and then every single time it's a big blind move, it's one of my whales or like a recreational getting moved, and it's just like full of regs, you know, it's literally just a reg table, it's horrid. But we'll battle it out. So this one goes, I defend the big blind with 6-5 of clubs, after cut off open, jack, jack, 6, rainbow. I check, he bets 500, I call. Turns a 4 of spades, 2800 in there, now it gets fun. I check, he bets 1300, and I'm talking about football, like with someone talking about Trent's contract, and I can't help but talk about it. You definitely shouldn't talk in hands to other people. This guy wasn't even in the hand, and I was just chatting about football to him, and I went to call, and I put 3 yellows in instead of 3 purples. I didn't even have any purples, which is probably why I did it. And I meant to call the 1300, and I put 1 green and 3 yellows to make it not enough to raise, so 2500 that was. So they made me make it 2600. I've got to pretend I haven't misclicked. He calls, which is just, you know, not terrible. He could have flush draws and stuff. I'm hoping for check now, obviously on river a lot of the time. 4 clubs on the river, pairing the board, double pairing the board. 8000 in there. I think I just have to check. I think bluffing in this spot would be so stupid. He bets 3500, which is less than half pot, and it's obviously like a pretty good price. But I really need him to have bet diamonds twice, which he probably doesn't always do. And then he bet calls the turn. I'm thinking he probably for this sizing can also bet like an overpair, and also he might know that I've misclicked, so it's like, you know, he can value bet thinner. I think for that reason I probably just have to fold. I'm getting a really good price, but I decided to just let it go in the end, and he does tell me that I wasn't good, so I mean, maybe he's lying, but whatever. Anyway, let's hope we can spin up a stack. It's looking like a terrible table, but we will give it a go. Yeah, back to the action. Okay, end of level 6 and start of the second break. We'd been moved to another even reggier table than before. And first hand up, we've got a few interesting hands. First hand up, we have Queen 10 of hearts. Cal Morleone, I don't want to say that wrong. Very, very good player. He opens the button. He has 23k. We're at 300, 600, and I have Queen 10 of hearts in the small blind. I decided to just call because if I make it like 4500 and he shoves, it's just awful. I really want to see the flop with this hand. So I'll just 3-bet some other shit that I don't care about, like king jack off maybe. Or maybe I won't. Anyway, big blind folds. The flop is Queen 9-8, 2 hearts. So I'm like, right, brilliant. How do I get this in? 4200 in there, goes, I check, he checks. Turn king of clubs. Not great, but we're still okay. 4200 in there, still, I check, he bets 1700, and I call. And the river's just the ace of diamonds. How I've managed to have third pair on this river is just sensational. It is a work of art. I check, he bets 4500. Now, honestly, there is a huge case to be made for shoving here, but I'm just not sure how well I rep like the nuts if I don't check raise a turn. It's a bit of a weird one. Also, there's a bit of entitlement to it. It's like, how the fuck have I not won this pot with Queen 10 of hearts on this board? I even said to him, like, it feels unfair that I'm not going to win this hand. But I did decide to just fold, and he thought it was quite funny. Anyway, so we lost that one. Down to 22k at 300, 600. I've got pocket fours, red fours in the small blind. Low jack, some sort of semi-reg, doing some weird things though. He's got 35k opens to 1200. I flat the small blind and a donkey reg in the big blind, who won the voyage for 11 bags the day before, but he's doing some weird and splashy stuff. He calls in the big blind as well. Jack 6 deuce, 2 diamonds and a heart. Checks through, which is good. I get to a chance to hit a 4. Queen of spades turn, so obviously we just check folding. Checks through again, and the river's the 4 of clubs. I check, and this guy, the donkey reg in the big blind, goes for a bet of 1500 into 4200. The initial raiser laughs and folds, and I've got a decision. Obviously we're raising, but this guy is like really, he thinks he's really, really good, and he isn't. And he just won a tournament the day before, and I feel like if I give him a chance to make a hero fold, he's really going to take it. He's been doing some wild shit, like he jammed 50 big blinds, 3-bit jammed 50 big blinds with ace jack suited, and done some other really weird stuff, and he bust earlier on my other set, was his second bullet. And I thought if I give him a chance to make a hero call here, I think he might go for it. So I end up shoving for 20k, which is like huge, and it starts talking like exactly the way I wanted to talk, and it comes clear quite early on that he's probably going to call. He's like, oh, you know, you're not going to find 3 checks there. What, you're going to check a 2 pair 3 times there? You know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, he's probably going to flick it in. Anyway, it tanks for about 3 minutes, ends up flicking it in with queen 10 off. I showed the set and he goes, oh, it's so sick. I'm like, yeah, so I didn't say anything, but in my head I was like, yeah, what a cooler, bro. Yeah, that was a funny one. And then so we doubled up to like 43k or something. The next one I haven't got on video because I thought I hit record, but actually I didn't. And then, yeah, I got a little bit of the aftermath of it because while I was stacking the chips, because I went to stop record, but that was actually me starting record. Yeah, I didn't get the hand, but Glenn Gaines opens the button. Really good reg, one of the better regs in the scene. Cal in the small blind, one of the better regs in the scene. He shoves for 9,600, the blind's at 4.8. So it's like 11, 12 bigs. Yeah, 12 bigs. I've got ace jack off in the big. Honestly, I have no idea whether this is a call or shove or a fold or whatever. It's probably really, really close. Ace queen seems pretty easy. Ace 10 seems really easy to fold. So I have no idea. It's probably really cuspy. I decided to take the spot, try and knock Cal off. And I know Cal's shoving against Glenn's opens on the button really wide. Well, I assume he's shoving at least appropriately. I call. Thankfully, Glenn folds. Cal's got king queen off. And we flop 2 aces and hold. So up to like 53k. Yeah, like I said, table not the best, but plugging away. And we're going back for another, I think that we've got another 8 levels today. So yeah, I think that's correct. So a long way to go. And we're going back to 500, 1,000. So we have about 50 bigs. So yeah, so we could spin it up. See you on the next break. Well, that is not the best light in the world, but what do you guys care? I certainly do, but I don't have time because I've decided to do all these recaps in 15-minute breaks. It feels like the fucking World Series again. So hard to get them in. Could have just done a postcom, would have been a lot easier. Anyway, to the hands. Very, very interesting 3 levels. So, first up, we've got 53k. It's like one of the first hands back. 53k at 500, 1,000. I open the low jack to 2,100 and a recreational calls the cutoff. Everyone else folds. The flop is queen 3-3, 2 spades and a heart. I have queen 8 of diamonds. And I bet 1,200. I don't know if I'm supposed to check or bet this, but it feels like a pretty good board to bet. Probably not always, but yeah, definitely here is fine. 1,200 into 6,700 and he calls. The turns are 9 of diamonds. 8,900 in there. I decided to check this hand. I want to have some top pairs and check, and this seems good. 8,900 in there, I check. He bets 3,200 pretty quickly, and I can't do anything but call, so I do. 14,400 in there, 9 of hearts river. I check, and he snap bets 7,500, which is interesting because he had a queen, like a medium queen, like a king queen that can definitely value bet. You'd at least think about it. I don't think you'd bet a 9 on the turn, and it's half pot and it's a recreational, so all in all, I think it's a pretty easy call. We do flick it in. He shows us king 8 of spades for a busted flush draw. So a good start. Then we have ace king, ace of clubs, king of diamonds at 65,000 chips at 500, 1,000. By the way, this is probably the worst I've ever sat on in my entire life in any tournament ever. Even the people that are like getting replaced by other people are just top crushers. Like, it's fucking horrendous. I'm pretty outclassed in every spot, but I'm just going to try and do my best and maybe run good. I can only do what I can do. So I open the small blind to 3,600 with ace king, and the big blind, who's another recreational. The last recreational that we had, he's got 28,600 and he calls 3,600. So I'm making it like 3.5x. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Who knows? Jack 10-8 with 2 hearts and a spade, 8,200 in there. I don't think I want to bet this hand. Getting raised would be pretty bad. So I go for a check. He snap checks back. Queen of spades turn. Ding, ding, fucking ding. I bet 3,500 and he snap makes it 7k. So I think he just has a 9 always. He has about 25k total including that bet. So I don't think a recreational 1 would ever raise without a 9 and 2 ever fold a 9. So even though it's completely shit stainy, I don't think I'll be in this spot ever against the reg. I think I'll mainly just call 9x on the turn. I'm just going to shove here exploitively and get called by a 9. So I shove, he calls Queen of Hearts, 9 of clubs, he's dead, and King of Hearts river doesn't mean anything, and we get all of his 30k chips, so we're up to 95k. So going very well at this point. King of Diamonds, Jack of Hearts, 95,000 at 500, 1,000, so like nearly 100 big blinds. The button, who's a reg, has 25k, he opens to 2,200. Glenn, who's top reg, calls in the small blind, and I call in the big blind. Jack 8-4, rainbow, 7,600 in there, checks through. Jack of spades turn, 7,600 in there, Glenn checks, I bet 2,300. The button calls and Glenn folds. And the river is a deuce of diamonds, 12,200 in there. I think about all my options here. I think they're all really good. I consider shoving, but if he'd had 3 reds instead of 4, I asked him how many reds he had. He had 4. He's got 30k left, which is over 2x pot, so I think it's a bit ambitious. Because I think I need to get called by a jack in that spot. I'd rather shove like boats that unblock the jack. And then I could block to get like crying calls from like maybe an 8, or maybe some ace high, or maybe get raised by some bluffs. I think that's really good as well. Or I can overbet small. When I decide to overbet, I think that's fine. He snap calls. I bet 13,500, he snap calls, and he shows Queen Jack. Oops. So pretty disgusting board, and very nice for me. And yeah, made some more chips, gave a few back. Then we've got these couple of very interesting hands against this kid, okay? He's been on my table all day. He's good, but he's cocky as hell. And he's very active. I got pocket 8s at 105,000 at 800, 1,600. I opened to 3,500 in the cutoff because he's over defending the big blind, so I don't want to min raise. He's defended every time I've opened. He calls again this time, 3,500. It's King, King 9, 9,400 in there. He checks, and I don't know the strategy here. To be honest, I don't know. I decided to just bet my hand. I don't know if I'm betting everything here. I'm probably not. I don't think I'd bet like ace high. And he check raises pretty quickly to 9,000 after I bet 2,800. And I'm sat there thinking, this guy's definitely after me. I know paired boards people get after, you know, people that think they're over, like maybe range betting or overbet or betting too much on the flop. So I was really loath to fold, but I do decide to fold. And then he gets this shit-eating grin on his face, like fucking punchable face. Not allowed to because I'm wearing patches, but not allowed to anyway. And not that I would, but and he says to the guy next to him, and I can hear him, even though he's across the table. He says paired board and opponent. So what I take that to mean is it's a paired board, which is overfolded anyway, and then the opponent who doesn't know what he's doing. And to be fair, I really fucking don't know what I'm doing. But kind of pissed me off, and I thought, fair enough, but maybe keep it to yourself. But also, like, yeah, I probably don't know what I'm doing, and maybe you're absolutely right. But he couldn't take the grin off his face for literally like 2 or 3 minutes. So I was like, fuck this kid. I was like, I don't know what I can do about it, but fuck this kid. Anyway, very next orbit, cut off again. I've got 10-7 of diamonds, 100k. At 800, 1,600. He's in the big blind again. I open to 3,500 with 10-7 diamonds, and he calls. I think he's calling all the time. I think he thinks that he's way better than me, and he might be, but it doesn't always matter when the flop ace, queen, deuce, all diamonds. Now, given what I know about him, I don't know if he knows that I saw him say that, so I'm just going to never check this back. I'm always going to bet this hand, hoping that to get check raised or for him to get sticky and try and do something weird on future streets. He checks, I bet 2,200, he calls, the turn's a 4 of clubs, and he donks for 3,000 into 13,800. Now, normally I would probably just raise this, but given the dynamic, and given that I think this guy's going to go after me pretty much all the fucking time if I just call this turn, and he'll think I'm way underprotected, I decided to just call only, to let him do his thing on the river. 4 of spades on the river, not the best card on the deck. He can have some boats, but I mean, what's he donking the turn with? I have no fucking idea what's going on. It doesn't matter. Pretty much, I mean, unless he does some insane overbet, I'm probably just going to flick it in. He bets 15k. I can't raise against that 3/4 size bet. I snap, and he just goes, "Oh, you win," and then he just mucks, and I just don't show my hand. So yeah, fuck you, kid. We got him back, and now we're up to about 140k. We're going back to 1,000, 2,000. So yeah, we've got about 70 bigs. My table is fucking horrendous. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's fucking horrendous. We've got to play 14 levels, so 5 more. It's gonna be a tough one, but we'll give it our all. And hopefully see you on the next break with some chips still left. All best. Okay guys, more shitty lighting and not a lot of time, but this new device is making it so I can do these and don't have to write very, very long scripts that take me ages, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. I would like to actually know if you prefer this to the post-com. I do like writing scripts, but they do take a long time. Downside of this is I don't get a break, but let me know what you prefer. Anyway, a few hands to get through, only 10 minutes to get through them, so sit back down, we've got 100k or something, we get our aces, and out of our ace, and everyone folds quicker than I've ever seen in my life. I just thought I'd mention that one. Next hand, kings, 110k at 1,000, 2,000, 2,000. I open to 4,500, and Glenn defends the big blind. Very good reg. Every other time I've opened and he's been in the big blind, he's just 3-bet me or shammed, so obviously shocked that now I have kings, he doesn't do that. King Jack 9 rainbow, 12k in there. He checks, I bet 3,500 and he calls. He started the hand with, I want to say 70k. Turns 19,000 in there, 6 of clubs. I don't have a club. I'm always going to bet here when he checks. I bet 15k into 19k. I think it's approximately geometric or there or thereabouts. And he pretty quickly folds. So take down another one. We're up to 120,000 at 1,000, 2,500, 2,500. We play this very, very strange hand. And I think I might just be a complete stain or just have no idea about tournament meta. But to me, this hand seems it's just insanely wild. So open the cutoff to 5,500. Matt Davenport flats the button, who is extremely good and annoying to have on your left, and he's been on my left for like the last 3 hours, so not ideal. Big blind, who I think is a reg, loads of chips. I think he's a reg. He just stacked a bunch of people and he's got loads of chips. He looks like a reg and he, acts like a reg. Jack 5 deuce rainbow, 20k in there. Big blind checks. I decide to check. Generally speaking, I just revert to my cash game strategy. When there's 2 set completing cards on the flop, I generally check. I like to have some checks that include some strong hands. Matt Davenport checks back. Turns a 4 of clubs, and the big blind bets 14,500 into 20k. It's a pretty big bet. It's basically just saying, yeah, this card's really good for me. I can have straights you can't have. I can have 2 pairs that you can't have. Yada yada. Seems very reasonable. I can't fold, obviously, so I call, and I definitely can't raise. Matt folds the button, and the river is the 8 of spades. So was the river the 9 of spades? I think it's the 9. Yeah, it's the 9 of spades. Nothing complete. It's like 6, 7 doesn't get there. So it's the 9 of spades. And there's 49,000 in there. And the big blind bets 33,500. I'm in the middle of eating a sandwich. I hadn't eaten all day. I ate way too much the night before, and I was feeling really bloated. I had a sandwich. I was just at the end of it, and then I went into the tank. How much is that? 33.5. How much? 33.5. Oh. I just wanted to eat my sandwich. Very close. Yeah, so basically, didn't even really consider here whether, usually my river process is, do I beat value? If not, then is this spot overbluffed or underbluffed? I think he's probably, we're last 2 tables, there's like 18 left, 11 qualify for day 2 at this point. So I think, generally speaking, he's going to be quite aggressive. So that's 1 point to calling. Yes, he can have a lot of 2 pairs because he just defended out the big blind. Any suited 2 pairs he's going to have here. So in that sense, I decided I'd rather have a jack than like aces here. King jack better than aces because he's going to have a lot of jack x 2 pair. And I figured that, that would mean that it would rule some of that out, make it more likely he was maybe bluffing. So I thought about it for a while and ended up calling and got pretty quickly shown jack 6 of hearts. So it's a pretty meaty bet on the river, jack 6 of hearts. And I was literally like, I don't know whether that's a bluff or not because I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I wanted. No, I don't think I nearly folded it, but I kind of wanted to fold what I had. So, to me, I think it's just maybe that I'm way out of kilter with what is going on in tournaments. It felt like way too thin to me, but I honestly do not know. And I probably, if he's definitely if he's value betting that, I need to snap. The problem with this spot is that when I check the flop, usually a lot of people just don't think I have anything, and maybe I'm not playing the spot correctly by checking the flop all the time. So he might just think I never have like a jack plus. He just thinks I have like pocket 10s, pocket 8s, whatever, and he just value betting really aggressively. So I think he was pretty surprised to lose. And then I was literally like, I don't know if this is a bluff or a value bet. And he was like, yeah, it's a value bet. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm just terrible. So that was pretty embarrassing. Outed myself as a failure. And then I got outed as a failure even harder by Matt. Queen 6 of hearts, blind on blind. We get moved to another table. 175k at 1,000, 2,500, 2,500. Matt's got about 100k. I open the button to 5,500. The small blind is dead, and Matt defends the big blind. Flops jack 9-7 rainbow. I have a backdoor flush draw, so I decide to check rather than get check raise off my equity, even though it's not that much and I probably could just go ahead and bet. So check, turns the 2 of diamonds. I think this is a bit, out there. He checks, I bet 6,500, like half pot, just trying to fold out some like pocket 4s and stuff like that have good equity against me. And I still have like an overcard, I still can bluff the river. It's a bit out there, but blind versus blind, it's sort of everything's going on, I think. Never looked at it. He calls the river, there's 26,500 in there. And he checks, and I think, I was saying to myself, like, right, Matt's a really, really good reg. He's going to know this spot's probably under bluff when the board pairs on the river. Is he really going to expect me to follow through with something that I bluffed the turn with? Am I not just going to have a 9 here? Like, I can easily bet a 9 here. So I decided to size for half pot. Usually I bet slightly bigger, but I wanted to be able to value bet a lot of hands, or credibly value bet a lot of hands, like 9, 10 off and all this stuff. And he just absolutely fucking snaps me off A7, fair enough. And I just get wrecked. So yeah, full play to him. King, queen of diamonds, I have 150k at 1,000, 2,500, 2,500. We're down to like 16 players at this point, 11 make it to day 2 and the money. Small blind reg, he has about 100k limps. I raised to 9,500 with king, queen of diamonds and he calls. Queen 5-7 rainbow with a diamond. 21,500 in there. He checks. I go for a third pot, 6,500. I think this is just fine. I don't know whether this is a range bet or it's a half pot, or whether I'm supposed to check over, but I just decided to go for a bet. And he calls. Turns to ace of clubs, so definitely not the most amazing card in the world. It is a Badoogie card, rainbow. So I was like, I could bet here and go for triple, but it might be a bit thin depending on run out. And I honestly, guys, I just don't know. Like, what has he got? How many big blinds does he have? 100k. Yeah, he's 40 bigs. So it's probably just a triple off, right? But it can't be that bad to thread in some checkbacks, bluff catch some rivers, and get less credit on river when he checks to me. So I do check this time, and also like this is we're approaching the money. Like, I'm trying not to bloat pots if I can help it. I think I'm making shit up as I go along, guys. River's a king of clubs, great river. 34,500 in there. He takes a little bit of time and checks, and I just have a very clear meaty value bet. Definitely not all in because I blocked too many calls. 2/3 pot, very, very mandatory here. 27,000 is to 34,500. He takes about a minute before calling and mucking, so very, very nice pot there. And yeah, apart from that, it was just like small pots. So I'm pretty much winning like most pots I enter. I opened one button, someone defended 9-5 offsuit, and I checked it down and they won with a 9. I don't know why they've done that. But yeah, I had kings, really bad board, but we checked it down and I won. Made a couple of 3-bets and people are just folding, so that feels really good. Like, just getting some stuff through, like attacking people that are shorter. Like I'm beginning to understand like how much pressure on people are under ICM wise, and I've got a decent stack now, up to like over 200k. I think I've got like 220k. I'm coming back to 2-4, and we're playing till 11 players, and there's 15 left, so 4 more players need to get knocked out. So I need to be very, very aggressive. So I'm not in these situations very often. If I'm ever in this situation on the bubble, then I'm usually the one knitting it up, trying to get into the money. But I think, I know this is a chance I'm supposed to be putting a lot of pressure on. I'm supposed to be doing a lot of 3-betting, a lot of opening. So there are some very, very good players left in this. This is one of the toughest fields I've ever played in, to be honest. I don't know why it's so difficult today, but it is. Very, very good regs everywhere. All I can do is play my best and hope to get to the money for the second time this year. That would be absolutely marvellous. Back in my old stomping ground, Reading, which I used to go to university in, if you didn't know. Back to the action. Hopefully the next time you see me, I'll have a day 2 bag. If I don't have a day 2 bag, something's gone very wrong and I'm going to be absolutely distraught. So I know that's what you're hoping for. Well, that was a lot less painless than in Edinburgh when we had a 3-hour hand-to-hand and I lost most of my chips. The only thing in common is that we did lose most of our chips. Not most of them, but half of them. Super, super annoying spot. And one that I imagine is like unbelievably close, maybe just fine, maybe a little bit of a punt, but probably just about okay on the borderline. Only one hand that we played. We were back for like 15 minutes. It went really fast, and I had ace-9 suited on the button. So I've got 230k. Matt Davenport's in the small blind with 100k, which is 25 bigs, and someone behind him has got 12 bigs, who hasn't really played any hands. And I've got ace-9 of spades on the button. I think about opening, maybe fold to a shove. Yeah, fold to a shove. I decide that ICM. I don't know. And I just jam, thinking like they just can't call anything, unless of course you're Matt Davenport and you've got ace king. So he had ace king, we were nowhere near it, and yeah, unfortunately we were down to 120k. But then very soon after we were hand for hand, and then the next hand we were done, we were in. So we're in the money. So I think it's like an £800 min cash, but we could have had more. I mean, if we just pinged an arm, we have 350k and we're in there. So unfortunately, we don't have as much as we could have, but it's all good. We get the day off tomorrow, watch the football, do the Tower treble, and we'll be back on Sunday for day 2 with, I don't know how many big blinds, I don't know exactly how it works because it plays down to a percentage of the field rather than a blind level. But we probably have somewhere in the region of 25 bigs, something like that. So I've got no idea what to do with that, but you never know, guys. Just need to be lucky for once. So I'll be seeing you on Sunday when we're going to give it a go and see what happens. All the best.
Morning everybody and welcome to day 2, 51 players remaining. We are ready and set. They're the chip leaders, all the 51 players. It could be fast and furious with about 10 stacks under 20 bigs.
How are we doing, guys? It's a fucking miracle. We're still in the tournament. There are 27 left. We're currently locked up £1,030, which is my biggest ever cash in one of these events, beating my 920 from Edinburgh. And we're still going. We'll catch up the hands and then I'll give you the state of play. So we were on the feature table, so we'll intersplice my commentary with the commentary from the table because that's much more interesting anyway. Super uncomfortable for me because I don't really know what I'm doing at 30 big blinds too much, but like I'm just hoping for some simple-ish spots and to play as well as I possibly can. That's all I can really do. Starting things off with King Queen off, I've got 110k at 2.55k. And the low jack limps is a recreational. It's actually a pretty damn good table, all things considered. There's some pretty good regs out there, but my table was pretty good. Two players to my left, and very, very recreational. Low jack limp, I ISO, he's one of the recs. I ISO to 16k in the cutoff, and he calls. 10, 7, 4, 2 spades, he checks, and I think maybe with the spade I'd bet. I'm not really sure which is better, to have a spade or not have a spade, because I don't really want to waste my equity with a spade, but at the same time, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. And I just decided against this particular player type, it's probably going to be really sticky. This probably hits him quite well. I'm just going to give this up and hope to realise my overcard equity on the turn. Check, 7 of diamonds, and just barrels out 20k, and I have to let it go, I think. Probably fine. We bleed down to 72.5 at 2.55, so just under 15 bigs. Open to 10k with ace king. I could shove, but I think around this stack depth, I think his hand's too good, and I need to play pots with it. So I'm just opening to 10. The button calls, who is an older recreational player. King 7 deuce, 2 diamonds. I have the ace of diamonds. I bet 11k, and he pretty quickly raises me to 27k. I have about 50k left, so I think I just want to shove here. Now, having the ace of diamonds means he's unlikely to obviously call off with flush draws, because he shouldn't be raising the ones that aren't nut flush draws. But he also could just have king queen that's never going to fold. I want to stack him now. It's unlikely that he's bluffing, I think, this player type, so I decided to just stick it in, and he just snap folds. So maybe I could have called, but even if I call, there's not a lot left. I don't think it matters what you do. So we won that one, and then I think we're up to 120, 30 again. The low jack opens, who is maybe a weak reg, I'm not sure. Button calls, who's the rec from the first hand, and I call in the big blind with jack 10 off. Jack 7, 2 hearts and a diamond, or 2 diamonds, 2 hearts and a diamond, I think. I check, it checks through. 9 of spades on the turn, I've decided to start betting now. I bet 11k, smallish. I'm going to want to bet a 9 here, so maybe I won't, maybe I will. I decided that I probably would, so I'm going to use small bet rather than a bigger bet. He calls, and the button folds. The river's a 10 of hearts, bringing king queen and an 8, so 4-liner, so an 8's a straight as well. So I've got the nuts. I decided to, with this hand, I think I'm just going to check shove. If I had boats that were unblocking the top part of the board, then I might go for just large bets myself. But I think generally speaking, it's pretty good to have checks here. I check, he bets 20k pretty quickly, and obviously I'm all in. He says this is a really sick spot, I've got aces, so I was like, oh, he's surely going to fold. And then he's a time bank, I'm like, surely he's going to fold. And then he does end up folding, but I was like, this is surely an easy fold. And then the guy on my right, who's got loads of chips, but he's not very good, he opens large. I have 150, he opens large, and I shove queens in, we're quite early positions, but obviously I'm shoving at 20 bigs, nothing else to do. He thinks about it for ages, uses some time banks, and folds ace jack suited, which is a pretty easy fold, I think. And then we're up to 180, fold a few blinds, I think we're 150. The average stack is nearly 400, so we're limping, but I think we played fine for what I can understand. I definitely played as well as I could have played. So yeah, we're still in the mix. We have, I think we're coming back to 16 bigs or something. The blinds are about to be 5-10. So yeah, we have about 15, 16 big blinds. So definitely 3-bet shoves, and still can open to 2 sometimes. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, locked up just over 1k, which I'm really, really happy with. And anything from here is a bonus. There's 33k up top. You never know. Gonna go for a piss, gonna dust the croissant real quick and get back to the action. We're on the outer table now, so back to hand at the table footage. And I'll try and use this little gizmo to get the all-in footage so it's a bit clearer for you. See you very soon, I imagine. Best of luck. How are we doing, guys? 15 left in the main. I'm one of them. Don't get excited. Everybody calm the fuck down, okay? Right, a few hands to talk over. Then I've got to upload my video because it's nearing 5 o'clock on Sunday. We've got a 25-minute break though, so that's nice. We're going on to feature after the break. We'll tell you how much we have after we go through the hands. So, come back straight off the break at 5,000, 1,000. I have 160k, and I'm in the big blind. So, the button opens, who I don't know at all, and I have ace-5 of clubs in the big blind. I jam, because it takes 5 of clubs, and he tanks for a while, uses a few time banks, and then folds. So, we take that one down, pick up a couple of blinds, up to 180k for the next hand. We have ace of hearts, 10 of diamonds. We're just doing all the little ones because it's a journey, guys. 5,000, 10,000. I open the hijack to 20k with ace of hearts, 10 of diamonds. The button calls and the big blind calls. Big blind's got chunks. The button's a bit flashy, weird guy, getting in with weird stuff. Ace jack 7, 2 hearts and a spade. 75k in there. Big blind checks, I decided to bet very small, 17k, and they both fold really quickly, which I'm pretty happy about. So we're struggling down at 150k. I've got 8-7 of hearts at 6,000, 12,000. Hijack opens to 25k. The button calls, the small blind guy from the last hand calls, and I call the big blind with 8-7 of hearts. Flop is 10-8-4 with 1 heart. I'm like, if someone bets, I'm like, I have no idea. Probably it's just like side call 1 and then fold. Checks through, which is nice. 3 of spades. I don't think any reason to bet here. I might be wrong. Checks through again. And the 4 of spades river. If it wasn't a spade, I think I would bet. Without the spade, I decided to go for a check and decide maybe the button will stab and I can pick him off. I don't think I can fold this hand off checking 3 times. Anyway, it checks through and I win 112k. So that was really, really nice. Didn't even have to do anything there. Then I'm down to 16 big blinds at the same level, 6,000, 12,000. I pick up pocket threes on the button. I tell the dealer I'm all in. And everyone quickly folds. The blinds, one of the blinds was a bit erratic. The guy in the big blind was only playing like ace king. Honestly, he was so tight. So I think it was a good spot. So I pick up the blinds up to 220k. I'm at 8,000, 16,000, and I open the low jack with queens to 2 bigs to 32k. The small blind calls, who's like just made an unreal call and he's got loads of chips and he's pretty good. Flop is ace, ace, deuce, 2 hearts. No idea of strategy at all. I never play against small blind calls really, so I decided to check back, thinking he's either really far behind here probably, or he's really far ahead. So I decided to check. Turns a jack of hearts. I could bet this turn. I have no idea. I decided to check again, hoping for no heart, and then I can either pick him off on river or I can value bet. I think it's fine. The river's the 6 of hearts, 4 flush. I'm like, oh. Luckily he checks. I snap check behind, and it is good. And I'm like, guys, no idea. I actually don't have a clue. And then we get to the hand of the level. It folds to the small one, who's Bousy, who's like a regular of the circuit player. He limps off like 250k. I have about the same, 240k. I check queen 5 off with the queen of diamonds. Queen of diamonds, 5 of clubs, I want to say. Flop is 8-6-5, 2 hearts and a diamond. So I have no backdoor flush, but I have bottom pair. He checks. I don't think we want to reopen this hand. I'd rather just reopen top pair plus, I think, in this spot. But I have no clue. I'm just going off whatever I think I know. Turns ace of diamonds, Bousy bets 32k. I could let this go here, I think, but I decide that after I just check back, I check pre and then I check back the flop, I'm probably going to be he's going to think I'm quite weak here, and he might just try and stab like loads of crap and take it away, and I might be able to win on river. The river's a king of diamonds. I have the queen of diamonds, guys, and he checks. Now, there is an argument to be made after what I said on the turn that I'm going to be winning here at showdown sometimes, but I think it's probably on the unlikelier side. I think he's more likely to bluff. I don't think he's likely to bet the turn too often without maybe 1 diamond in his hand. So with the queen of diamonds, I'm not going to do this very often at all, but I think with the queen of diamonds and a pair that I don't think shows down exceptionally well, I think the higher ED plays just a shove. There's 16 left at this point, and I just fucking grab onto my bollocks and tell the dealer I'm all in. And he tanks a little bit, and I'm like, oh no, not like this. I'm going to show the queen 5 off buggy. Thankfully, Bousy folds, and we are up to 300,000 chips. We're going to feature. There's 15 left. We've locked up 1420. This is now officially my deepest run ever by far. And yeah, we've got just over 15 big blinds. There's ladders to be had, I guess. We need to think about ladders at this point. The ladders were pretty bad for the first 30, 40 people going out, but now they're looking pretty solid. In final table, you're guaranteed 2.5k, so we're going to be keeping that in mind, but also we're going to be trying to play for it because we're here to win. I want to win. This is where I first started playing poker. I would love to win, and I'm not going to get many chances like this to do that, so we'll see what I end up doing, but hopefully I don't embarrass myself. I managed to not too earlier, so we'll see. Anyway, got things to do before the break finishes. Wish me luck. Let's head on to the feature table and see what we can make happen.
But here we go, it's Easty.
There's queen.
And he's going to be getting called here, I think, Tower. Ace, queen, 225. Let's just run some maths. So it's going to be 170 back on David. So he's going to be getting 2-1 with Jack 10 suited here. So I don't think David is going to be able to fold here, Tower. Should be 2-1 on the nose if my maths is correct.
Carl's going to be folding a jack. And the 10 jack is called.
Yeah, 2-1 on the nose.
The diamonds are crushed.
Got to call it off. And
we just folded a jack.
Jack in the muck, diamonds covered. Come on, the Easty. Can we find the hold now? Just put the old black ace deuce deuce flop out there. Just make it easy.
I'm going to go to the commentary box and talk shit about you all.
Oh, jeez. 10 on the flop.
Wow, the 10.
Right, 5 aces and queens combined in there. We need one. Well, now we need a jack, not a queen. Queen no good, so going to need to find a jack or an ace for Easty. And it's not, it's the 5 of diamonds. Unfortunate run out for Nick Eastwood.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat box, round of applause for your ambassador and your streamer, Mr. Nick Eastwood.
Yeah, 11th for £2,000 tower. Great run by Nick. I think he'll be happy with that when he...
This fucking game. Well, this is part of the job, unfortunately. So we went to feature with 15 left, 2 tables, a few people bust. I literally couldn't play a hand for the first level. I mean, I wasn't even close to anything that I could play. And then I got pocket fires with like 9 bigs shoved and everyone folded. A few people were at risk, no one bust. I had 9 bigs, I had 225k at 1025k. Some guy opens, we're 6-handed. Guy opens, I guess it's hijack. I think I was button. Honestly, guys, it's a bit hazy. I think he opens under the gun. I don't know. I have ace queen of diamonds on button or cut off. Fucking easiest jam ever. Really good spot. I know he's not like going to raise fold loads because he's under the gun. He's off 14 bigs and he's made it 2. I think he's off 14 bigs or something. He just lost a huge pot before. And he just fucking uber snaps Jack 10 of diamonds. Like fucking snaps calls Jack 10 of diamonds. Which is for over half his stack. With Jack fucking high. With 11 left, 2 to the final table. And I see it and I'm just like, there's not a fucking chance in hell that I'm ever going to win this hand. Ever. I've never been so fucking sure of anything in my life. But having the diamonds covered as well, so fucking obvious. So fucking obvious. It's 10 high board, brick. Absolutely fucking devastated, to be honest. Haven't felt this way in a long time because I haven't really gotten to a point to feel this way, so I guess that's one thing, but it's just so fucking frustrating. Like, not going to be in this situation, like, rarely, ever. I think I've played better before and done worse, but I've played fine, I think, and it's just an absolutely brutal game. And I wish he just had fucking ace king. It's just a fucking jack 10 snap that's just absolutely doing my head in. So this one's going to fucking hurt for a while. So I come 11th for 2k, 33k up top. If I double there, I'm at 20 bigs. He's almost out. And there's another guy on my table very short. So it's pretty much an FT hand, and guaranteed on the FT is 3k. It's basically worth about, I reckon that flip's worth about 6k. I have fucking no idea, but it's got to be in that region. It's just an absolutely fucking, sorry guys, it's just so savage. I'm gonna go and lick my wounds. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we can do this again someday. Part of me wants to do it again, part of me just never wants to feel like this again because it's just so brutal. There's no way I could ever win that hand. There's no way I could ever win that hand. Anyway, GG's. See you on stream next week. All the best.